250 different countries. There are only about 250 countries, and most of them are about this big. So we've got military bases in pretty much every country. And you call that defense? You know, the Department of Defense used to be called the Department of War. It should have been called the Department of War or the Department of Offense. Now, if Ron Paul becomes president in 2012, what he'll do is he'll pull all the troops back home. He might even spend more money on the Coast Guard, because the Coast Guard is at least sort of defensive. Now, again, I'm not into anarcho-capitalism here. I'm just talking more mainstream for the moment. If we had a strong Coast Guard, that would be defense, because they all stick to our coasts. Now, you don't have to wait until the other guy punches you in the mouth. But if he just sort of is standing there 3,000 miles away and going like that, you know, that's not an attack. What the hell are we doing? What the hell are we doing there? One of the high points of the 2008 election was when Ron Paul on that debate said it's blowback 9/11, and Rudy Giuliani went ballistic. He said, "Oh, I've never heard of such a crazy theory." Well, we've been over there. Madeleine Albright was saying that it's okay to kill 500,000 Iraqis. We're in Saudi Arabia. We've got a special relationship with Israel. This is what Bin Laden says. He says, these are the things that bug us. It's not because we have mini skirts here. It's not because we have rock and roll music. It's because we're attacking those countries. The 9/11 was just blowback. And in any case, the 9/11, I think 15 out of the 19 people were Saudis. So why aren't we attacking Saudi Arabia? What's his name? Tim, who was the guy that did the Oklahoma bombing?
McVeigh.
Tim McVeigh was from New York State, I think. Why don't we attack New York State? I mean, he was from there, so we should attack them. I mean, don't anyone interpret me as saying we should attack New York State.
Hell, you are.
I didn't mean it. Okay, let me give you the view that if you ask a traditional economist, why do we have military? Why does the government have a military? And now I'm getting into the anarcho-capitalism. Remember, the anarcho-capitalism difference from the minarchists is armies, courts, and police. So I'm now taking armies. And the view is, it's excludability. Can you exclude? And is it rival refs? We have yes, no, yes, no. Okay, so what does excludability mean? Excludability means, can you exclude non-payers? Can they exclude me from this chalk if I don't pay for it? Yes. They have a very credible threat that if I don't pay for the chalk, they'll call the police and I'll go to jail. So chalk is excludable. How about, we just came from this Chinese restaurant, we walked on the streets, and there were hundreds of people on the streets. Would it have been feasible to charge people to walk on the sidewalk? There are hundreds of them. And the answer from the mainstream economists who believe in market failure is no. Crowded sidewalks, you can't exclude. It's unfeasible to exclude. We're going to go to every person saying, well, did you pay to be on the sidewalk? It's very difficult to exclude. What is rival risk? What rival risk means is, if I have it, can you have it too? Well, chalk is rival risk, because if I've got it, you can't have it. We're rivals for the favorers of this chalk, so to speak. Right? But how about TV stations? Is that rival risk? When I turn on my TV, does that disrupt the image on your TV? No. So we're not rivalrous there. So according to these guys, is it rivalrous or not? It's really, should you exclude? And their answer is, yes, you should exclude if it's rivalrous, but if it's not rivalrous, you shouldn't exclude people, because the marginal costs, they love marginal costs, if the marginal cost of another guy tuning in the TV, zero. It doesn't cost anyone anything. So even if you can exclude, and you can exclude TV by jamming it and then selling people an unjamming device, right? So even you can, but you shouldn't, because it costs no more to do it. So what they say is that this is a private good. These are public goods, but this is only a partial public good. This is only a partial public good. The pure public good is lighthouses and national defense. People who've taken economics ought to know this stuff. That's what they teach in the textbooks. So what they're saying, say with a lighthouse, can you exclude a non-payer? No, if you put the light on, every ship can see it. So you have free riding. People will not pay for the lighthouse. They'll take advantage of the light being there, but they won't pay for it. But if they won't pay for it, then the private owner of the lighthouse can't make money on it, and you can't have private lighthouses, but you need lighthouses, so the government has to do it. Is it rivalrous? No. A lighthouse isn't rivalrous. If I look at the light and I steer clear of the rocks, you can also look at the light. My looking at the light doesn't reduce your visibility of the light. And then the last one is national defense, which is the topic that I'm now getting for. And what they say is, can you exclude? Can you exclude somebody from national defense who doesn't pay? Well, obviously not. If we tell the Russians, look, if you mess with anybody, we'll nuke you. We're all beneficiaries of the nuclear threat that we have over the Russians, or whoever the Hitler of the day is. And is it rivalrous? No. I can be protected even though I don't pay. You pay, you're protected, but it's not rivalrous. We can both be protected. So what they say is these are pure public goods. Now, so far I've outlined the mainstream view. I think I've done it accurately. I think that if there were neoclassical economists who said, well, yeah, that's a pretty good rendition. Now let me give you the Austro-libertarian critique of this stuff. First of all, with regard to crowded sidewalks, Disney World doesn't have any trouble excluding people from walking on its sidewalks. If you don't go through the turnstile, you don't get in. Or if you don't have turnstiles, you could wear a little lapel thing, a little green thing on your lapel, and if you don't have one, the cops will come and get you. You can exclude if you want to. Usually the sidewalk owners use it as a lost leader. They want you on the sidewalk. If it was a private sidewalk, they'd want you there. They wouldn't want to exclude you, but if they did, they could, pretty cheaply. With the TV, you see, the problem there is that let's say there's a hotel that's got 90% occupancy. According to this crazy theory, they shouldn't charge you because the marginal cost of letting in another guy for the empty hotel room is, except for the cleaning of the sheets, which we can ignore for illustrated purposes, it's virtually zero. It costs nothing to get them in there. So the point is that if you buy this sort of stuff, everything, there's an empty seat right over there. That means that we don't have this rivalry, so we can't charge. So anytime you get a movie theater or a baseball or a football stadium that's got less than 100% occupancy, you can't have it private. Now, with regard to the lighthouse, I've got several articles out with my co-author Bill Barnett on this very subject, and what we say is the lighthouse owner has a credible threat against a non-paying boat. See, usually he can't tell because it's dark, but sometimes the moon is out, he can sort of see, and what he can say is, look, Mother F, one of these days I'm going to get you. I'm going to turn the thing out when you're the only one there. Might not come today, might not come tomorrow, but one of these days I'm going to get you. And I'm going to publicize this, and every sailor that sails on your boat, you're going to have to pay him more than the other boats, because now he's going into a dangerous sort of a situation. So you have a credible threat there. You can exclude the non-payer of the lighthouse, and it's a similar thing with national defense. Look, if in Massachusetts, or they used to call it Taxachusetts, but now with the new guy, who knows, if there are a bunch of hippie pacifist beatniks in Massachusetts, they don't want to pay for national defense, whereas in Texas, where men are men, they want to have defense, Well, the federal government can say, look, Russians, or the private defender can say, look, Russians, if you attack Massachusetts, you know, we'll just ignore it. Don't mess with Texas. You know, there might be a few Texans that